Hello class. This is just a little mini review of the topics we covered in class today. Again, we were looking at the introduction of what an object is, and again, it's object-oriented programming. So our first thing was to create in Eclipse a situation where we had a simple object we were creating and putting it into the classification system so Java programs can understand it and get definition and meaning from it. So the first thing we wanted to talk about was in Eclipse was how do we actually set this up. So what we end up doing in Eclipse is we're obviously creating an object. That's the first thing. So the object itself that we decided to build was a rectangle. And a rectangle, we had a brainstorm about this object. Well, what does this object have or can do? What are its attributes first before anything? What are its characteristics? How does it set itself apart from other objects of like stature? So a rectangle is really a length and width geometrical two-dimensional shape. So really just at bare bones, keeping it simple, it's just finding its length and width are the biggest attributes it can have. Now, we did discuss that another attribute might be to put it on a coordinate plane about where would it be on a coordinate plane, and we would have to designate a corner as our launching point, and then using the length and width, we can go horizontally. We were going to keep it simple, not do anything crazy on an angle or anything, but just kind of keeping it simple on a rectangle front that was going to be laying flat on a coordinate plane. That was something we could stretch this into. All right, so again, but keeping it on the simple side, our object is just simply going to have length and width. And then, all right, well, what's going to make it different is that you give it a different length and width than the next rectangle. So the first rectangle gets one size, the second rectangle gets another, the third, etc. Everybody gets a different size. Okay. So when we go to build our rectangle, that's the piece that we need to construct is based on the size. So what you see in our class, as we're going to go in here, we need to create a location to store the information to make this rectangle unique compared to the next object. So we have a length and a width stored privately. All right, so it's not accessible to the public. All right, and then accessible to the public is the actual construction of the rectangle, which makes sense because we want the public to make these. We just don't want the public to have direct access to the secret information stored inside. So we give information back and forth inside the code, but people on the outside looking in can't see everything. All right, that's what gives Java its neat little security feature. So, and we had mentioned that there are 3 phases of security in most classes that we play with. Public and private are the ones we're going to see here in the intro units. Later in the year, we'll talk about protected as another data type of security level. Well, so for now, we have 2 constructors that we usually like to build. And so there's more than one way to build a rectangle. So there's more than one way that we propose it. And then we were just doing a simple, in our class example, one of the simple things the area would do would be allow us to get the area of the rectangle, something we could actually do for this rectangle. And since we don't know what it's going to be ahead of time, we'll calculate it on the fly. And sometimes people might be like, oh, I want that, make that rectangle bigger now. Well, so you want area to be able to change. So one of the items that people often tell and make mistakes is that, well, anything we're going to calculate about this shape or this object we're going to look at, we're going to do it all right from the beginning. So the information is just stored there. Well, the problem is once you create it on construction, you never can get back to the construction. So you can't do it again. So we don't set ourselves up for that. So that's just sometimes I know some students were asking about that today. Like, why don't we just put area as a variable and store that in there? You may store it as a variable, but you're not putting it in the constructor because it's going to be able to change. The constructor just needs to get the initial construction of the actual object. Okay. So we only did this one area, and you can see there's the math on area of rectangle, length times width, very simple. And it's returning and giving that answer then back to whoever called it. Again, it's a public value. It's a public method they can call and access. Okay? And so how is this actually working? So let's take a look at this a little more in detail. We have the three sections of an object, these initial things about objects. One, the variables, the information it stores, the private information that makes it the object. Construction these have two different constructors. One, you give both the length and width. You say, here you go, we're making you. Here's your size, 7 by 20. Okay, cool. Or 20 by 7, nobody cares. All right. The second constructor is, what if I forget to name a size? Well, we want to be covered, so we have what's called a default setting. As a coder, we set up the default. When they forget to send any values, we can have a default. In this case, we just made the default 1010. So length and width are both 10. And the cool part is the word that we use to call it says, hey, this constructor. So it just kind of goes back and looks at the class and the object. And in the classification settings says, oh, well, I'm calling this. So what am I doing with 1010? Oh, putting it into the constructor 1010. And it just does it here. So the code to store isn't actually physically there in that constructor. You could, but that's 2 lines of code. And we like to just refer to just writing code once. So if you ever have to change a constructor, you just change it here. You don't have to worry about changing it in every constructor. So we always refer back. You'll see that as these objects get more interesting, more intricate with different. This is a very simple example that we're just trying to roll with to get our feet wet with this object idea. All right. So this is creating an object. All right. So that means what we've built here is called a classification system for rectangles. What classifies it as a rectangle? These 3 parts. It's very distinct. All right. So when you go and create and play Programming God and create the rectangle, you now are creating the object. All right. So the word class is when we hear the word, we want to use the rectangle class. Okay. That's because we've created a classification system of what a rectangle is defined to be. And that's what you're looking at that we've created in class today. Just this rough one here. Okay. So why is this a class as well? We have a class over here called rectangle tester. All right. Well, what happens here is this is the one that gives life to what is a rectangle. But in order for us to use the rectangle, there's no main function in here. If you've noticed, there's no main idea. There's no system.out.printlines. None of that stuff is in there because that object doesn't do anything to output things. It doesn't do anything to run itself. It's an object that was created for somebody else's enjoyment. So what happens is that over here, we actually create a second class in this project that is sole purpose is to test the classification that we've developed to make sure it works. So hence, this is a rectangle. And now that I know that this works, I can now use this in other programs. Whereas here, I'm just testing it as to make sure it worked. I go through all my methods, make sure they all work and all that fun stuff and check them off and say, yep, it works. Oh, this one didn't work right, I don't think. So go back and tweak the code to make it work. Oh, now it works and we're good. So here in the beginning, I know some of you are first generation coders in high school. This is different that you'll have 2 different things going on here because eventually we'll have classes, we're going to have a circle class, a rectangle class, a triangle class, a polygon class. They're all going to be there, all right? And we have one main that's just going to say, oh, what shape do you want? Oh, you want this shape. All right, well, pull this in. And we can refer to them and create objects on demand based on these, all right? That's down the road. Right now, we're just playing it simple. So we're just playing with one, all right? And you might be like, this seems like a lot of code for just doing one thing, all right? But again, we're testing it to make sure that it works thoroughly, okay? So you can see over here in the tester class, there's the main. And in the main, here's the deal. We wanted to create something of the classification type rectangle, okay? What is it that we're creating? Well, in class, they said brick. So I made it a flat brick, technically, because it's 2 dimensions, not 3 dimensions. So a brick is typically a 3rd dimensional object that you can throw or use as a paperweight. All right, here, this is just a flat brick. All right, so it's two-dimensional. So this just declares it into existence as the name and the title we're going to refer to it as. However, we need to actually now instantiate, means to make an instance of, all right, this classification, and hence become the object that we want and sole purpose of testing. So how do we do that? Well, the word that Java uses to create a new object of a class is the word new. Go figure, I used it, it's almost punny. All right, so you can see here that the flat brick is going to be assigned the new rectangle of values 7, 4. So here's rectangle 7, 4, calling 7, 4. It's going to go over here and say, oh, that's the rectangle. Here it is. It's the type rectangle with a length and a width. And it will then execute this code and store the 7 and 4 into the 7 of the L, right? Because it's the first position, W the second position. L is going to go into the length privately, and the width is now going to go get the W value privately. And so that'll lock it away from any hackers that want to try to get into my code. It's now private. Okay, I've created this instance. The lock has been cast on the data. If I want to get that data out, I have to go through what channels I've been given. And the only thing this thing can do right now is calculate area. So that's what I did in my next line, was let's output what it calculates as area so I can test the method to see if it worked. These are methods and operations sections. So these are operations I do on the classification system. So if you wanted to change a length or width, maybe you want to double the size of the rectangle, in length and width, dilation, or if you wanted to, eventually we're going to do some translations and, flipping and stuff like that. By all means, we can do those things, but that's other methods that we would have to add to this. Right? So they called it and it ran, and let's run it here real quick. You can see it running in the console. There it comes up 28, perfect. So it did what it needed to do. 7 times 4 was the area and came out 28. All right. If we decided not to put values in there, just run it to make sure we have the actual default value working. So we run it there. It says, do you want to save as you go? Yep. Now we have 100. So the default value, if you recall, was 10 and 10. So again, this guy here, rectangle default, goes in here to the default, sets 10 and 10, calls it here, sets it up, stores it. So all of that is stored, and then it goes in here, and the second line of code calls this guy into here. All right, so what is it that we're asking you to now do for the next day? Our next class, I asked you to create a method for getting perimeter, all right, and a method for getting the diagonal length. So in order to get the diagonal length, you're going to play around a little bit with a data type called double. All right. So if you're watching this video, I'll kind of give you a hint. Public double, and that would be diagonal length. We'll call it diag length. You can call it whatever you want. Just keep it sensible. Again, it's a class method, so we set it up. It doesn't need anything because the information is already there. And in order for you to return that value, I told you you're going to need to do the math dot, and you can see math is a class, and in there is all these methods, and one of the methods is sqrt. That's in there. It says, hey, I'm going to take the square root of something, and what do you take the square root of? Well, that's up to you to decide. I'm not coding that. So if you're watching this video, I'm not giving away all the trade secrets. So make sure you put the semicolon at the end of the line. And again, you go over here into the tester and you call it so you can actually get it to print out so you can see that it worked. All right, but in any case, so you do diagonal length, perimeter are the two methods I wanted you to add, and make sure they call out. That's all I'm asking for to do for the next class to make sure you're prepped and ready. And then we're going to add more functions and functionality to this. All right, thank you for tuning into the video. I hope this helped review some of the topics and terms we used. Again, any follow-up questions, shoot me an email or leave a comment on the end of the video in Schoology. All right, thank you, gang, and we'll see you in the next class.